What is the implied purchasing power of one Bitcoin?
$43 million. The global balance sheet has about $900 trillion of assets. 900 trillion divided by 21 million. So 43 million today's purchasing power. It's way more than that.
Will Bitcoin have a bigger impact on humanity than the internet?
It's going to have a far bigger impact on society than the internet. Far bigger impact than AI.
How does the current existing system promote insecurity?
Everywhere.
Does anything stop this train?
The only thing that stops this train is us. If we choose to centralize, if Bitcoin isn't used as a medium of exchange, I'm not saying stablecoin. Bitcoin has to be used as a medium of exchange or it will fail as a store of value. I know I just left that as pretty big topic, but now ask why. So in 3,000 years of human history, if we've never had a decentralized secure money, and many bright lights throughout time, Nikola Tesla, Ford, Buckminster Fuller, many others have known kind of how hard it was to wrestle state control from a money, but we didn't have the ability to do so before Bitcoin, like truly decentralized and secure. So if we are, that means we are part of the system that must centralize. We trade our time, right? And we trust the centralized system. And the centralized system always abuses us in the end. Always. And then we go, and as it works against the free market, as it causes inflation against what should be the free market deflation, it gets to a point where we start noticing. We start noticing the centralized control. We start noticing the broken money, and it has to accelerate and get worse. As we start noticing, it creates divide in society because some people are extracting so much from other people. And as it extracts more, because most people think there's a solve from within that system, the way you get elected is you blame the other people in your country, right? And once you get elected, you consolidate more control. You change the rules, you change laws to consolidate more control, and you try to and that doesn't work either, because the free markets are more productive. So centralized markets are less productive, and they cause more and more misallocation of capital, more and more control, and people notice it more. So but now you've already created the enemy in your own country. The us versus them in your own country. And the only way to resolve that is you got to create a bigger enemy somewhere else in the world. And then we go to global conflict and we reset currency, and we reset currencies. We killed tens of millions of people. We reset currencies and we build all these institutions that say, let's not forget. We celebrate Remembrance Day. And we say, we'll never do it again, only to start the process over. And so that's how currencies have always worked, and Bitcoin is the first time that we could ever avoid that path again. But that path that I just described, you can see accelerating around the world. You can feel it, right? You can feel politicians talk about if I can't trade for resources with people honestly, I'm going to take them. By force. I'm going to take Greenland. I'm going to take Panama. I'm going to take Canada. And I can tell all sorts of reasons why I'm going to, but I'm going to. The centralized control system needs more centralized control, and that also that also causes the same thing that we just described: a conflict everywhere. That people think the best way is to fight back, and it creates all of these other problems. Now, because this is, and I'm jumping all over the place here, but just imagine a world, two different worlds. Imagine a world where artificial intelligence and 3D printing machines can create your own drone swarm, and for almost free. You could do it yourself through technology today, and you could create your own drone swarm in a control system would you get more or less people fighting back, like all over, to try to break down, to destroy the control system? Now I ask, what about when we could CRISPR and technology and AI to create viruses and such? So if you're driving people off the cliff, like you're driving them to they can't live a decent life, you're creating the structure that they'll come after. There are no walls high enough to stop what's happening. There is no protection from within the system. You're actually creating all of this generational pain that people are going to fight back. And they're going to use the same tools, the same technology, to fight back at an ever-increasing rate. Now, I know that's not a pretty picture, but from the existing control system, you can expect that that some of these things are going to accelerate. And Bitcoin is the other side of that argument. It's a complete opposite. It's a 180 to that, because that's a really dark world, right? It gets worse and worse and worse, and you don't almost see it. You're making it stronger with all your actions in that system. You're playing a zero-sum game, thinking that you can win at the expense of others. If you have more assets, you're winning more from them, but it's still a zero-sum game, and there are no winners long-term in that game. But because most people are playing a relative zero-sum game, and they're winning against the people without the assets, or somebody in another country that's being extracted from, they believe they're winning in a zero-sum game. Well, it's getting worse and worse. And Bitcoin is Bitcoin is a cooperative game. It is it's everybody wins, because the free market works, because we trade with each other all over the world to provide more value, and it enforces those rules. It imposes those rules, where the output of that trade is prices fall. Nobody can cheat.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country, with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.